In the last lecture, we have derived four field equations for TM mode of a rectangular waveguide. So this was the rectangular waveguide we have considered, and we have done its TM mode analysis. Now in this class, we'll do a TE mode analysis for this rectangular waveguide. The process will be almost similar. The only difference is that in TM mode, we know that Hz is 0 and Ez is non-zero. So we have obtained equation for Ez. But in case of TE mode, Ez will be 0 and Hz is non-zero. So we should find out solution for Hz. So let us start for transverse electric mode analysis. Transverse electric mode, TE mode. This mode is also called as H mode. And in this mode, we know Ez will be 0 and Hz is non-zero. Since longitudinal component in the direction of wave propagation, is present, that is called as H mode. So now to obtain the solution, what was the first step? We have to write the standard wave equation. Standard wave equation for Hz. So this can be written as del square Hz plus omega square mu epsilon Hz equal to 0. So this will be our first equation. In case of TM mode, it was del square Ez plus omega square mu epsilon Ez equal to 0, because in that case we wanted to find out solution for Ez. Now we are interested to find out the solution for Hz. So expanding del in Cartesian coordinate system, expanding del in Cartesian coordinate system. So this will become del square H del x square del square H y square del square H by del z square plus omega square mu epsilon Hz equal to 0. Let us call this as equation 2. Now we know that solution for this can be obtained by using method of separation of variables. So Hz is function of x, y, z as well as t. So this can be obtained by method of variable of separations. This is equation 3. Now the next step is to use this solution in equation 2. So equation 2 will becomes, we have to replace Hz by x, y, z. So 2 will become yz d square x by dx square xz d square y by dy square xy d square z by dz square plus omega square mu epsilon Hz will be x, y, z equal to 0. So as we remember from TM mode analysis, so these partial derivatives will get converted into full derivatives, because now x will be function of x, y will be function of y, and z will be function of z only. So the next is divide this equation by x, y, z. So we get 1 over x d square x by dx square let us call this equation as equation 4. Now, as we have assumed these terms should satisfy for every value of x, y, and z, so they should have some constants. So what we have assumed, this as minus a square, this as minus b square, and this as minus beta square, and these terms will represent the solution for a standing wave, and this will represent the solution for a traveling wave. So let us rewrite them. 1 by x d square x by dx square, this will be some constant minus a square, minus b square, minus beta square, where beta is the phase constant. Now again, if you take this term to the right hand side and rewrite this equation, this will be a d square x by dx square plus a square x equal to 0. Similarly, we can write for this. So these are actually second order homogeneous equations whose solution can be directly written as x of x is equal to, actually now we have already used the constants c1 to c6. Now let us use some another constant. It is d1 to d6. So d1 cos ax, we have used c1 to c6 for TM mode case, so in this case we'll use d1 cos ax plus d2 sin ax, y of y will be d3 cos by plus d4 sin by, d5 e raised to minus j beta z plus d6 e raised to plus j beta z. You can recall from our TM mode analysis, this d1 to d6 are some arbitrary constants. Cos and sin are the sinusoidal variations of the field, and these two waves are representing the standing waves in the transverse direction, standing wave solution, and this is actually a traveling wave solution. So once again I repeat, d1 to d6 are some arbitrary constants. These are the standing waves, this is the traveling wave. Cos and sin terms represent the amplitude variation for your traveling waves, sorry, for your standing waves. So now next step is to consider that we have an infinitely long transmission line, so there is no backward wave, so no wave traveling in the backward z direction, no wave traveling in negative z direction. So d6 must be, this term must be, this is backward wave and this is forward traveling wave. So this is a forward traveling wave and this is a backward traveling wave. Okay, so the no wave is propagating in negative z direction, so this must be, d6 must be 0. And if you write for hz, if you write for hz, It is actually x of x into y of y into z of z. So this will become d5 d1 cos ax d2 sin ax d3 cos dy plus d4 sin dy e raised to minus j beta. So this is a general solution for longitudinal component of magnetic field at z. Up till this point, the TE mode analysis is exactly same to that of TM mode analysis. The only difference is that instead of EZ, we have used HZ. Otherwise, step by step, all these equations and this process is exactly similar to that of TM mode analysis. But this step onwards, we have to think over, and there is a difference in TM and TE mode analysis. So next to this step, what we have done in TM mode analysis, we have applied boundary conditions. And we said that your electric field is tangential to the four boundaries, four walls of the waveguide. This wall, this one and this one. So we have a tangential electric field because we have obtained solution for Ez in case of TM mode analysis. So we have said that Ez is tangential to all waveguide walls, and then we have used the boundary condition for tangential component of electric field at the conductor dielectric interface, that is tangential component is 0. So Ez is 0 at all these boundaries, x equal to 0, x equal to a, y equal to 0 and y equal to b. But now we don't have Ez here. What we have a magnetic field. We don't have electric field. And remember, since we don't have a boundary condition for tangential component of magnetic field, and since Hz is the tangential component at the waveguide walls, there is no boundary condition for Hz. Remember, there is a boundary condition only for the normal component of the magnetic field and not for the tangential component. Since this is a tangential component, we cannot apply the boundary condition for Hz directly. Therefore, arbitrary constants d1 to d5 now cannot be evaluated directly from Hz. Instead, first we have to derive the transverse components, and then one can use or one can apply the boundary conditions to that magnetic fields. That we will get the transverse electric fields, so then we can apply the boundary conditions. So what we'll do, we have this tangential component. First we will substitute this Hz into the general solutions, because we have obtained this from our one class, which is a general approach class, lecture 2nd. We have obtained Ex, Ey, Hx and Hy. So from this, because we are doing now a TE mode analysis, Ez will be 0. So we can write for Ex and Ey. So let us write for Ex and Ey from this. Ex is minus j omega mu upon h square del hz by del y, minus j omega mu upon h square del hz by del y. So hz we have obtained. So take the differentiation of this hz equation of this hz with respect to y. So what we get? We get minus j omega mu upon h square d5 d1 cos ax plus d2 sin ax into Now this is d3 cos by. So this will get differentiated because it is with respect to y. So this will be minus d3 b sin by, b sin by plus t4 b cos by into e to the power minus j beta. So this equation, this cos term will be minus sign, this sign will be cos, and the constant will be multiplied. So this is differentiation with respect to y. So what we have obtained is ex. Similarly, we can obtain for ey. So from general solution, ey is this thing, j omega mu upon h square del hz by del x. J omega mu h square del hz by del x is equal to j omega mu h square d5. This time differentiation will be with respect to x minus d1 a sin ax plus d2 a cos ax into d3 cos by plus d4 sin by into e to the power minus j beta. So we have this hz. So differentiation of this with respect to x, cos will be minus sign and sin will be cos and constant will be multiplied. So if you have obtained for ex and ey, now you can apply boundary conditions. What is ex and ey? These are the transverse components in the transverse plane. But if you consider for a waveguide, because you know that this is x-axis, this will be y-axis, and this is the z-axis. So ex will be tangential to the horizontal walls of the waveguide, and ey will be tangential to the vertical walls of the waveguides. So now we apply the boundary conditions. Since ex is tangential to the horizontal walls of the waveguide, to the horizontal walls of the waveguide, we have ex equal to 0 at horizontal walls. So these are the horizontal walls. So we have y equal to 0 and y equal to b. At y equal to 0 and y equal to b, ex will be 0. So this is our first boundary condition. Second boundary condition, since ey is tangential to the vertical walls of the waveguide. Vertical walls of the waveguide we have. These are the vertical walls. So we have Ey equal to 0 at x equal to 0 and at x equal to a. So these are the two boundary conditions we are going to apply for Ex and Ey. So since this is electric field and which is tangential to the horizontal and vertical walls, so we'll do this. E tangential equal to 0, the same boundary condition. So the first boundary condition will be at y equal to 0 to satisfy Ex equal to 0. At y equal to 0 to satisfy Ex equal to 0, look at this equation. What is your solution? At y equal to 0. Look at this equation. So this sine 0 will be 0. This cos 0 will be 1. So this constant must be 0. The solution will be d4 must be 0. At y equal to b to satisfy Ex equal to 0. Now see this. Already you have said that this will be 0. So don't consider this. Now at y equal to b to satisfy this equation has to be 0. When this will be 0? If you have your b will be some integer multiple of pi, because this is a sine function similar to that of TM mode. bb should be some integer multiple of pi, n pi. Therefore, we know that we can write the constant b is equal to n pi by b. Now second boundary condition. At x equal to 0, at x equal to 0, Ey to satisfy Ey equal to 0. Look at this Ey equation. At x equal to 0, to satisfy this, sine 0 will be 0. So this will be what? Cos 0 will be 1. So this d2 must be 0. So d2 must be 0. And the last one, x equal to a to satisfy Ey equal to 0. Look at this. At x equal to a to satisfy Ey equal to Ey equal to 0. This is already gone. D2 was 0. So this is sine function, and when it will be 0? At multiple of pi. So your a because x equal to a must be some integer multiple of pi. Therefore the constant a is equal to m pi by a, exactly similar to that of TM mode analysis. So with this, your equation of Hz, what was that equation? This equation. Your equation, let us call this as some equation number. This was earlier was 4, so this will be 5. So your equation number 5 will becomes. So it is Hz equal to, because d4 and d2 are 0, So this will be d5, d1 and d3, because d2 and d4 will be d2 and d4 are 0 after applying boundary conditions. Then cos ax cos by e raised to minus j beta. So let us assume this is some constant d. Hz will be d cos ax cos by e raised to minus j beta. And you know the constants a and b, so use them. So finally Hz will be d cos m pi x by a cos n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z, equation 6. This is complete solution for wave equation for longitudinal component of magnetic field Hz. So this is exactly similar to that of TM mode analysis what we have obtained. It is quite similar to that solution. This is what we have obtained for Ez in last lecture. C sin m pi x by a sin n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z. So this was for Ez. Instead of sin, we have now cos variations for Hz. Okay, so now you are in a position to write down the final four field equations. Final four field equations for your TE mode analysis. And what you will use to do that? You will use a general approach. So from general approach, so let us have that set of equations from general approach. This is general approach, Ex, Ey, Hx and Hy. Since you are doing TE mode analysis, your Ez will be 0. So Ex will be minus j omega mu upon h square del Hz by del y. Minus j omega mu upon h square del Hz by del y. Okay, so what is Hz? Hz, you have obtained this thing. This is complete solution for Hz. Now use it and write the final equation for Ex. So this will be minus j omega mu upon h square, and differentiation of this Hz with respect to y. So this will be d n pi by b. I'm writing this first differentiation d, because this is with respect to y, so this will be d n pi by b. This is with respect to y, so constant I will be taken, and cos will be minus sign, so minus minus I will be writing plus here. Cos m pi x by a sin n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z. So we have differentiated this. Now we'll write Ey. Ey is del Hz by del x, j omega mu by h square del Hz by del x. Ey. So this will be, now we have to differentiate this with respect to x. So this will become j omega mu upon h square. Cos will be minus sign, so minus b m pi by a sine m pi x by a cos n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta. So if you can write for ex and ey, now there will be no any doubt to write for hx and hy. So quickly we'll do that. Hx from general approach, now Ez will be 0, so minus j beta upon h square hz by del x, minus j beta upon h square del hz by del x. So this will be minus, will become minus minus plus j beta upon h square d m pi by a sine m pi x by a cos n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta. And last hy, it is j omega epsilon upon h square del e, sorry, this will be 0, minus j beta upon h square del hz by del y, minus j beta upon h square del hz by del y. You can simply copy this because you know this is exactly the y derivative with respect to hz. The only constant will be minus j beta, so this will be plus j beta upon h square, the constant d, the same way we'll write n pi by b cos m pi x by a sine n pi y by b e raised to minus j beta z. So if you see them together, so this equation and this will be same, and this will be same, only the constants will be different because you have y derivative over for first and fourth one and x derivative for first and second and third one. So this will be very easy once you could write for first set of equations. Later on that will be very easy to remember, and there is no any scope of mistake for writing all these four field equations. So this is what we have obtained for TE mode analysis. The final comment: what is the lowest order possible mode for TE? What is the lowest order possible mode for TE? You know that m and n are mode indices. Let us consider you have m equal to 0 and n equal to 0. Whether it is possible. See your equation number 6. Complete solution. If you put m equal to 0, n equal to 0, you have hz will be some constant t. Hz will be equal to some constant. But if you put this hz into the general solutions, if you put this hz into the general solutions and its derivative, because this is a space derivative, it will be 0. So constant must be 0. Another way you can explain it, although if you think that hz appears to be non-zero, it cannot exist without any electric field. So for that reason, when you say m equal to 0 and n equal to 0, even though it looks like hz is not going to vanish, it is some constant, appears to non-zero term, but it is not possible because if you take it into the general equations, when take space derivative, it will be 0. So that is what we are trying to understand. So even in case of your TE, 0 0 or when m equal to 0 n equal to 0, this mode is not possible. Let us say you have TE 0n or TE m0, means either of these indices, one is 0 and other one is non-zero. So come here, let us consider your m is 0. So the field will survive because you have n is non-zero. And in other case, if n is 0, again this will be 1, so field will survive. So both the modes are possible, means you have a field at least variation in one direction. Your field will have at least variation in one direction. In other direction, it may be a constant. So the lowest order mode, TE mode I mean, will be you may have a TE10 when n is 0, or you have a TE01. So combining together TM and TE modes, how many modes you have possible, lower order possible modes? In TM we have a TM11 mode, and in this case we have a TE10 and TE01 mode. So these are the three lowest order possible modes based on the M and N. So in next class, before that, I hope now you will appreciate what we have done in second lecture. In intensive manner, we have obtained these 4 field equations, and we have done a TM mode and TE mode analysis of a rectangular waveguide with reference to those 4 field equations and the basic vector identities and the wave equations and some elementary mathematics, what we have come to the point of the analysis of TM mode and TE mode of a rectangular waveguide. Similar approach can be applied for circular waveguides, but what we'll do in the next class, we'll try to do some important analysis for a rectangular waveguide. We'll try to find out the cutoff frequency, cutoff wavelength, what is the dominant mode, what do we mean by degenerative modes. All these concepts we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.